And it's okay. All right, we're recording, so I'm good to go. All right, so I'm so excited you guys are here. I like not feeling like I'm talking to myself. Feel free to keep your camera off. I know that we all have things going on, and being on camera is not what we want to do all the time. Um, so I have some slides that I'm going to share with you guys. It'll just kind of help keep me on track, but I have a lot of like random hacks from doing this for a couple years. And I always tell clients coming in, and that's part of the reason why I set my program up one-on-one, because I really felt like in the clinic, I had so much to tell people, but seeing them for a 15-minute appointment, like even every month or like every 6 weeks, I couldn't be involved enough in their lives to like really help them make the change in a doable way. So, the women that I work with, like, we're all so busy. I always say, like, I am not in a stage where I can do a ton of prep. So let's work through this together. Let's figure out what works for you. That is one reason why I'm so passionate about the functional testing, because we can see on paper what's going to work. It takes a lot of the guesswork out, which makes it a lot easier. And then we can really focus on like putting the plan into action. But what I want to focus on today is just kind of meal planning hacks and how to make it work in the crazy busy seasons of life. Okay. So let me share my screen. Again, for those of you who just popped in, if you have any questions, post them in the chat. Okay. So meal prep made easy. Like we all know that prepping makes a big difference and makes the week easier, but how do we actually do that? I used to be one of those people who spent way too much time on Sunday prepping food, and I got totally burnt out on it to the point that I was like, okay, I'm never doing this again. But there is a happy medium, and there are a lot of really intentional things that we can do that don't take a lot of time that set you up for success. So that's what we're going to go through today. We all have busy lives. We need to be strategic. We want to save time, reduce stress, support your health goals, and be an example to your family. I'm working with so many women right now who, like, on our initial consult call said, I have kids and I want to set the example for them, like especially girls. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter with boys, but especially for those of you with girls, we want to set the example. I always say, like, if you can change a mom, you can change a family. So I think I've just been really encouraged by that's the reason that they want to do it. I think a lot of times as women, we use being busy and our role as mothers as an excuse not to invest in ourselves, but like let's change that, and like they're the reason why we're going to invest in ourselves. Anyway, that was a side note, and try to stay on track so that this replay isn't super long. um so why meal prep? We all know that it's really important. It saves time, reduces stress, supports your goals. So I don't know about you guys, but like if I have not planned and I'm trying to throw together meals throughout the week, like it never ends up being calm or healthy. So it really can transform chaotic weeknight scrambles into calm, organized evenings, like enjoying dinner together, eliminating the daily, like what's for dinner. I'm sure you guys have seen the memes. It's like if anyone told me that I was going to have to plan food for my family for the rest of my life, like I would have opted out of that. I get that. I feel it too. And this is like kind of what I do for a living. Um, and supporting your goals. So knowing that like there's never a perfect time, there's always going to be holidays, football season, travel, weekends. We have to figure out how to navigate the crazy times, because there is never going to be a time that it's like just all you're doing is this. So we've got to figure out a way to make it work. Um, okay. So creating a balanced meal that fits your lifestyle. Again, like this is where I love looking at the functional testing first, because then I have like more of a blueprint for my clients, like when we're working one-on-one together. But what I want you to know right now is don't go through Pinterest and find all these crazy recipes, and then your grocery list is 200 items long and probably $500, and half of it rots in your refrigerator. Like I've done that before. I work with a lot of people who like they've tried all that and it's overwhelming. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. So what I want you to shift your focus to is, what does it look like to just prep like batch items? So protein, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, and divide it up like that. So for me, a lot of times that looks like grilling some chicken, grilling some steak, doing some instant pot chicken, like some sort of protein. Obviously, having like eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, things like that stocked, a good protein shake, which I'll go through some of my favorites for that. I meant to type it up on the slides and I forgot. So I'll go through that. Throwing some vegetables on a sheet pan and sticking them in the oven. I don't care what day you do it. Sunday works for a lot of people. It doesn't matter what day. It does not need to be complicated. One thing that I will say as far as the vegetables is I am a big fan and I work with clients on eating seasonally. So if you're here in Tallahassee and you can go to the farmer's market on Cary Forest on Saturday mornings and get the seasonal vegetables, there is something to be said. I mean, that's like a lost art. I mean, we used to eat what we were growing, and now we eat like the same five foods on repeat at all times of the year. But eating seasonally increases diversity. You get different nutrients from foods that are seasonal because they're like growing right now here locally. And it's less expensive. You save so much money when you eat things that are actually in season. Think about how much strawberries cost in April versus like the dead of winter. And the nutritional value that we're getting from them is different because, you know, when we get them in the winter, they're grown other places. They're sitting on trucks for however long. They're sitting on in the grocery store shelves. So just kind of thinking about that. So easy to have that available. Just throw it on a sheet pan, spray some olive oil spray, salt and pepper. You're good. You can eat on that the entire week. Whole grains, so like cook a pot of quinoa. Have some canned beans. um Trying to think, like rice. You can, I mean, most people have no trouble like getting carbs in, but if you have that whole grain to like use as a base, you can reuse it in different ways throughout the week. And then healthy fats, it's going to be things like olives, avocados, cheese, hummus, that sort of thing. The oil that you even put on the vegetables would be a healthy fat. So break it down into those sections so you're not like trying to prep these really crazy recipes that you find on Pinterest. So if you use this as a foundation, we're going to get balanced nutrition and we're not going to make it like super complicated, super expensive, super overwhelming. Smart ingredient overlap. So use ingredient overlap. So in other words, you know, if you're batch grill, like let's say you're grilling chicken, let's use the chicken throughout, like in different ways throughout the week. So maybe one night it's like chicken fajitas. Maybe the next night it's chicken on like a quinoa veggie bowl. Maybe the next night it's like chicken salad. So you can reuse these things, repurpose them. I'm going to talk a little bit further down. One of my favorite bloggers who does this really, really well. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And so like you can use the roasted vegetables for grain bowls, pasta salads, omelet fillings. You get the idea. If you're using ChatGPT, which I do highly recommend using some sort of AI platform to help you with this, that is a key phrase. Like when I'm writing meal plans for clients and I am giving them options and looking through their testing and figuring out what's going to be best for them, one of the biggest phrases I use with ChatGPT is to use overlapping ingredients so that you're not buying so many different things, spending so much money, and again, like, I don't know about you guys, but half of it usually rots in my fridge. Um, and then planning. So what I like to do is have the things, especially with kids, that I know that they will eat. And I keep those in rotation. So our big things would be like some sort of taco night, spaghetti. They love chicken and rice. And on my Instagram profile, I have like step-by-step instructions on chicken and rice that I have like, we were raised in South Carolina and like chicken perlo, we call it, is like a big thing. That's been a family staple for a long, long time. And I have finally figured out how to make it like with good quality ingredients. My kids love it. We keep it in rotation. So I have those things just like as a base. And then I pick 1 to 2 new things that just to like keep it interesting and like so I don't get bored to rotate in. But I am so anti mom eats something different than the rest of the family does all the time. I don't think that's a good example. I don't think it's practical. Maybe we have to make some adjustments. Like on pasta night, I'll always roast a spaghetti squash or like have zoodles as an option. so I'm making like small tweaks, but it's not like, oh, mom's on a diet. She's not allowed to have that. Like that's personally not what I want to teach my kids. But there's like small little tweaks you can, with taco night, maybe they're having tortillas and you're having a big taco salad with, I mean, I always want some tortilla chips with it. But it can be doable and you don't always need to be eating something different than what the family is eating. So if you want to try something new from Pinterest, find like one, maybe two. I would even say like two is a little bit much, but find like one new thing. Okay. All right. So time saving tips. We talked a little bit about it, but like master the batch cooking thing. So you don't, I mean, gosh, I used to like get home from church on Sunday and spend the rest of the day cooking. And like the thought of that right now makes me want to die inside. So a small amount of time, just grill some meat or throw it in the oven, throw it in the air fryer. I love using the air fryer. You guys, shrimp, like frozen wild caught shrimp, takes 8 minutes in the air fryer. It is delicious. It goes with so many different things. It's a great lean protein. I highly recommend keeping wild caught frozen fish in your freezer. My kids love it. My husband's allergic, but that's a side note. So just 1 to 2 hours weekly, cook a pot of quinoa, grill some protein or like cook protein and throw a sheet pan of veggies in the oven. It does not need to be complicated. Most people, like when they start something new, I think we as women in this like Pinterest era want everything to be perfect or we're not going to do it at all. And that is absolutely sabotaging every one of you having that mindset. So change that right now. Um, Using frozen or pre-cut produce. I always keep a bag of like frozen green peas, frozen green beans. There's a brand at Costco called like Pura that is different types of frozen vegetables. So just like keeping some of that in the freezer um, saves a lot of time. I always like to keep those frozen items stocked, like wild caught fish, wild caught shrimp. You can get chicken. I know a lot of you don't eat seafood, but if you do, I recommend lean. I personally don't like frozen chicken, like pre-frozen, and they like add weird stuff to it. But if you grill a bunch of chicken, you can go ahead and like after it cools off, slice it and freeze it already sliced, and then you can pull it back out, and it doesn't have that like weird, you guys know what I'm talking about, that like weird taste and like texture from frozen chicken. Anyway, um, invest in quality storage, glass, definitely trying to get away from plastics, from a just like toxic standpoint, hormones, all the things. Glass is what I would recommend. So freeze stuff, buy stuff frozen, buy some pre-cut produce. I don't do this all the time because I'm cheap and it's often really expensive, but choose like one or two items that you're like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy that pre-cut. I'll talk a little bit further down about hungry root. So like last night we did hungry root and it was steak fajitas. So we did the steak, but it came with like the pre-cut peppers and onions, and that was a huge time saver. It sounds ridiculous, but even the step of like washing the fruit or washing and cutting up the vegetables means that I'm not going to choose that because it takes too much like time, mental and energy. I know I'm not alone in that. Surely not. Okay, breakfast. A lot of people get hung up with breakfast. Love doing overnight oats. For most people, there are some, like if we're dealing with insulin resistance, PCOS, those kind of things, like I don't always lean towards the oats. That's a very individualized kind of thing. And if we're working one-on-one together, you and I will work through that. But overall, overnight oats, I will kind of batch do that in just like little mason jars. So typically a half a cup of oats, put just enough milk to cover it. You can use whatever kind of milk you want, nut milk. Just make sure the nut milk doesn't have a tons of like fillers and gums. I do cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla extract, and like a tablespoon of chia seeds. Shake it up and put those in the fridge. And then I enjoy overnight oats heated. So I put it in a bowl. microwave it for like 30 seconds, and then you can add whatever fruit is in season. I love anything like cinnamon raisin. So I do some raisins. Um, and I add a big scoop of Greek yogurt for that protein to like keep your blood sugar stable throughout the morning. That requires very little effort. You can do the egg muffins and that sort of thing. That's easy to just cook and freeze and is easy. I do prefer, like, there are some pre-made versions of these things, but the seed oils that they use, like, I feel like they're always like cutting corners with ingredients to make it cheaper, for them. So I do recommend, like, if you're going to do this, do it yourself. Um, I have a really good baked oatmeal recipe. It's like blueberry baked oats. It's Sally's One Bowl baked oatmeal. You can look it up on Pinterest. I actually it's like one of the few Pinterest recipes that I printed and I just keep in the kitchen. It's delicious. I love it. Highly recommend that. Some other things that I like for breakfast are like cottage cheese and fruit. Um, and Jones Dairy chicken sausage. So we have this at our local Costco. It's in the freezer section. It's organic. The boys love it. I love it. I a lot of times like don't even have time to scramble an egg. But it just goes in the microwave. It's easy and it's a great breakfast option. So Jones Dairy chicken sausage. You can get it at Publix too, but at Costco they have a big bag and it's more economical. So just kind of family friendly, nutritious meals. Again, like I put the things that I know my family likes in rotation. If we try something new and they don't like it, then, we don't keep it in rotation. But if they like it, we keep it in rotation. Um, so quinoa, pasta salads, you can add, and I like to kind of like let the kids plate it themselves and choose what they want. I really find that like having them touch different foods, be involved in some of the like even if they're not helping cook, my patience at 5 o'clock after the school pickup and all that is pretty limited and trying to get to practice and stuff like that. I don't always let them help me cook, but I do like to let them plate their own food. And that I feel like helps them be willing to taste something new or like try something new. Um, so you can do the quinoa, the pasta salads, have the vegetables, protein, cheese, stuff like that, and let them kind of assemble it how they want. Big fan of one pan dinners, and I'm going to talk more about this when I talk about Lily Eats and Tells. She's the blogger that I love that does this. She has a whole cookbook on one pan or one dish meals. But if you get some sort of like chicken sausage and vegetable and like a sweet potato and put it on a sheet pan, it takes literally 30 minutes. And then, I mean, I promise you will have leftovers, but like it's minimal cleanup. If there's a vegetable on the pan that the kids don't like, they can pick what they want. It's not like it's all mixed together and they're like freaking out over it. It saves tons of time. It reduces stress. I highly recommend sheet pan dinners or um, any of the Lily Eats and Tells, like the one pan or one dish meals. And then don't forget that like it doesn't have to be like super fancy. So you could do like my kids love like if I just pull out a cutting board and put crackers, cheese, fruit, olives, hard boiled egg, like whatever you have, put it out, let them pick it. Sometimes I feel like they eat more when they're like, how they always like want to pick food off your plate. They don't eat what's on their plate. I feel like if I put it on a cutting board, they all eat a lot more and are willing to try new things. You can also do it in the bento box, like a Lunchable type thing. And adults can do that too. I just got one of those. My husband makes fun of me every time I say it, but the snackle box, he's like, stop calling it a snackle box. But the little like tackle box things that you put snacks in, we take it like baseball tournaments, practices. There's a lot of good ideas on Pinterest. That is something that I do give you permission to look on Pinterest for is snackle box ideas, but it can be super fun. It does not have to be perfect. Okay. Okay, Lily Eats and Tells. She's one of my favorites. I should have put a picture of her here, but I thought that'd be kind of weird. So she has several different things I want to tell you guys about. And actually, when we're done going through this, I'm going to go to her website and show you. But you can click on like breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you like chicken salad, I highly recommend her Waldorf chicken salad. You can make that and eat on it the entire week, and I don't get tired of it. You can use a rotisserie chicken. I do recommend like don't get the Costco rotisserie chicken. There's actually like some lawsuits over all the hormones that are in their gigantic rotisserie chickens. So like go to Publix and get the Green Wise version if you can. But her chicken salad is amazing. And she actually has a meal plan. In other words, it's like $15 a month. She plans out dinner. And she does what I'm telling you to do as far as like there's a batch cook protein and she uses it in different ways throughout the week with different flavors. She's really good about sauces. She's really good about incorporating lots of colorful vegetables and herbs, which when I'm doing gut testing, one of the biggest things that I see there from like a digestive enzyme standpoint is we need more herbs. And I think that also is a lost art. Like we don't cook and eat herbs like we used to, or we just don't prioritize it. I know that that's kind of how I lean, but she does a really good job of incorporating those things. So if you feel like a mental block in batch prepping and using it in different ways, sign up for her meal plan for a couple months just to kind of like get in that rhythm and see how she does things. And then you may, not continue it after that. I find it very helpful. All her recipes are delicious. Um, she makes great sauces. So yes, highly recommend. So chicken salad, highly recommend that one. I'll show you guys that at the end. But one of the things I love about the meal plan is, let's say she usually does like Monday through Friday. You can delete, like I'm not cooking something totally different Monday through Friday. I mean, I'll pick like 2 to 3 things and we rotate it. So I'll delete a couple that I'm not going to do, but then you can click the ingredients that you don't have and add it to like a Publix cart. And it's so, so, so easy. That's another thing that I was going to put on here, but it's probably a totally separate talk. I mean, I could talk forever on it, but one great thing that came out of the pandemic is grocery ordering. And if you don't want to pay Instacart or like the delivery fee or to pick up, it's not a fee. I promise you, I have tried this over the last year. I spend way more money when I set foot in a store than if I place the order and just pay the convenience fee or whatever it is. So if you are a busy mom and you're having trouble with, oh, we have nothing for dinner tonight because I haven't made it to the store, it's 2025 and that should not even be a conversation. You should absolutely be using Instacart or grocery ordering. Um, promise. It's flexible. It's not like you have to, you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do, but I love the like add to cart option. So love Lily Eats and Tells. And then Hungry Root. This is, a lot of people ask me about like meal delivery services. I'm not saying that this is the only one that you can use. A lot of times, like when the client and I are doing gut work and things like that, we do some sort of elimination diet, which can be a little bit overwhelming. And Hungry Root makes any way of eating very easy. You can choose gut friendly, you can choose gluten free, dairy free, whatever you need at that time. And it will send it to you. So, um, again, like this is a version, it's kind of a mix between a meal delivery service and grocery delivery. You can do both. So, like meal kits and grocery boxes. So, this week we had chicken Caesar salad. So, then they send like the Caesar salad kit and the chicken, steak fajitas, and then we're doing like stuffed peppers. It's all like the fajita stuff was pre-cut. It is like I've done things like fresh, not fresh, like Green Chef and like all those other, I get all their names confused. And even the fact of even like the process of like getting that bag out, following the instructions, cutting all the stuff up, like I was like, this is not working. So Hungry Root definitely makes it easier. I have so many, I mean, the clients that I work with are busy professional women, and moms. So this works. I have never had anyone like say I didn't like it. I mean, it works for 100% of the people that I have worked with, and it's been fantastic. So highly recommend trying that. We don't do it every single week. I kind of like pick and choose depending on what the week looks like, but this is a really easy way to like take some pressure off you. Okay. The food quality is really good. Like the beef is grass fed. It's, I feel like, higher quality things than some of the other meal delivery services that I've used in the past. There are others. Feel free. Like if you have one that you like, I'm happy to look at it. You can ask me. But Hungry Root is awesome. And I don't get any, I'm not paid. They don't reimburse me for telling you guys this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So putting it all together. Plan with a purpose, like batch prep those protein, veggies, whole grains, that sort of thing. Remember, like it doesn't have to all be perfect starting tomorrow. And I think put the perfectionism mentality is one of the biggest things that stop people from making progress. And that is, again, like when I set this program up, I'm like, okay, I need to work one-on-one with the clients. I need to hold their hand as much as possible through the busy weeks, through the weekends. And when you're feeling like, oh goodness, I've already blown it, I might as well just start back Monday. Like we can't have that mentality. You will get nowhere. That was a side note. Shopping smart. So combining fresh, frozen, pre-cut produce to maximize nutrition, minimize prep time. I do lean more towards frozen options versus canned. I mean, I still buy like black beans, chickpeas, things like that canned. I do recommend rinsing them before you prepare them. But frozen is going to give you more nutritional value with less stuff than canned. Cook the basics in batches and assemble complete meals in airtight containers. You can just grab it and go. Super easy. And then freeze and rotate. So freeze extra portions, rotate the meals so that you're like not getting bored with stuff. Speaking of that, one way that I like to look at it, I'm not someone, I'll just kind of preface this saying that like I'm not someone who needs a ton of variety. I'm okay eating similar things over and over as long as it like works and I feel good and I have energy and all that good stuff. But I like to kind of view the week as like I'm having one plan for the day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So the same breakfast, lunch, dinner, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and something different Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Saturday gets a little bit whatever, like if stuff's going on, but I try to at least include one of the weekend days in the planning so that we don't get into the situation where we're like doing well Monday through Friday and then it's totally off on the weekends because you also will not make progress doing that. But it just helps me in my brain to think, okay, I'm picking 2 days of meals. One's for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one's for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That just helps me not be overwhelmed and like compartmentalize it a little bit. Okay, so start small, build momentum. This is where I should say like just start with one thing. This is not like, okay, starting tomorrow, I need to do everything that Emmy said and I need to look at Lily Eats and Tells and pick these recipes and get on Hungry Root. Like, no, that is not what I'm that's not what I'm saying. Do not walk away with that. I want you to start small. I want you to prep just one meal or snack this week and then build momentum. If you pick something doable and you just repeat it and compound it, like this is a mindset that I really have to like infuse into the women that I work with, but it makes a huge difference in just how they approach health in general. Because if you think that everything has to be, you've got to be at the top of the stairs by tomorrow, you're going to be in the same place you are now next year, and maybe even a step back. Okay. Using things like Lily Eats and Tells, Hungry Root for just ongoing ideas is always helpful. I hope that that's helpful for you. Explore those things and then progress over perfection. Consistency beats perfection every time. Every time that you plan and like make a decision that you're going to prepare something or eat something from home as opposed to eating out, going through the drive-through, any of those things, like that's a win. Not here to say that there's not a role or a place for eating out. Um, Again, like that could be an entire topic, and Ashley, we should make that a topic. But you are going to save so much money, and your health is going to be 1,000 times better if you choose to cook more meals at home. If you do have to eat out, that's totally fine. We'll talk through how to approach that. But yes, so let me stop my share for a second. If anybody has any questions, or wants me to elaborate on something, please put it in the chat, but I'm going to get in the Lily Eats and Tells website and show you guys this real quick. You can type it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Think you guys can see that. Okay, so it's lilyeatsandtells.com. And she has things divided up into breakfast, lunch, dinner, side salad, snacks, whatever. I pretty much use these. Here's one of my favorite chicken salads. So she has several different chicken salads. You can here's the Waldorf chicken salad. That's my favorite. So that one is awesome, but you can really just click on whatever kind of meal you're looking for. And she has tons of different options. Here's where you go to for like the meal plans. It's very inexpensive. And all of her, if any of you like track your food in MyFitnessPal, all of her recipes are preloaded into MyFitnessPal. So all you do is like search the name of the recipe and it comes up. It's not like you have to spend time putting a million ingredients and stuff into MyFitnessPal. Not cool. And then her cookbooks are awesome. She does do sales, like she'll do them around, like Black Friday and that sort of thing. Looks like she had the Labor Day sale. So she has her one dish meals are really popular. I think this is the original one, and that's like the newest one. I have this one planned. So it's kind of like her meal plan, but it's laid out in a cookbook. She does like crunch wraps. She has a lot of different things, but they're all amazing. So that is that. All right, oh yes, thank you, Allison. Protein powders. Okay. I knew I should have put that in the PowerPoint. Okay. Let me answer the protein powders question first. So the protein powders that I love are Equip. It's just grass-fed beef, stevia, and like cocoa powder, or whatever flavor you get. I like Truvani. That one's a pea protein. And Just Ingredients. Flav City is fine too. So like Flav City, Just Ingredients, Equip, and Truvani. What I'm looking for is as few ingredients as possible. And I do not want sucralose. So I don't recommend. So sucralose is an artificial sweetener that can be very disruptive to the gut and to hormones. That's one of the biggest things I have to get clients off. And like a lot of times it's just making these easy swaps. But like Premier Protein from Costco, do not get it. Fairlife protein drinks, do not. They're all sucralose. So when you're looking at, when I'm working with a client, like I am like, all right, I want to empower you to be able to look at this and make decisions on your own without me at some point. So the biggest things I'm looking for are recognizable ingredients, as few ingredients as possible, and no sucralose. So Lily mentions Active Stacks. Is that one okay? I don't know what Active Stacks is. Hold on. Can you tell me what Active Stacks is? And have you used Burn? I have not. Oh, Active Stacks protein. All right, let me look it up. Yeah, so some of them, like I will say that like a lot of like macro friendly bloggers, my beef with them is that they don't use, like you can be macro friendly all day long and have crap ingredients. And quite frankly, I work with so many women who have like done the macro thing over and over, and they're not making progress like they used to. And when we look at the gut, when we look at the hormones, it's like this whole puzzle is put together. And we see that a lot of these like macro friendly things are not helpful. So I will say like Lily is one of the best at not doing that. There are some that I'm just like, oh my gosh, to think that you are just telling people to use these ingredients is crazy. But let me look up Active Stack specifically. Typically what I do is I just, whatever protein it calls for, like I just use mine as a replacement. So Active Stack protein powder. I don't know about the Burn Boot Camp protein powder. And I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Maybe I can Google it. So Active Stacks is beef protein isolate made from hydro beef, cocoa. So stevia is fine. It has stevia. Yeah, that one looks fine. The Active Stacks looks fine. Um, I'm okay with stevia, just not sucralose. Just ingredients, equip, and then Truvani. Truvani. That one is a pea protein. It's not um beef or like whey or anything like that. Let me see if I can Google the burn one and if it comes up. If y'all have any other questions, let me know. So I do like, I mean, if it can be grass fed and finished, which like Equip is, that's my preference. I don't know that the Active Stacks was, but okay, so Afterburn. I found it. Let me look at it. So it has stevia. It's okay. So let me share my screen for a second. So Fairlife milk is okay, not yeah, Fairlife milk is okay. Let me just say though that like there's this whole big controversy with Fairlife and how they treat their cows. Okay, so I am not like endorsing Fairlife. I personally use it because it has more protein, it's lactose free. Like I feel like it's just easy. I don't think that the controversy was like anything super recent, but like that like was a big thing. So let me just say that. But their protein shakes definitely are a no. The milk would be fine, like ingredient wise. Um, so whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate. So natural flavor. If something is not labeled organic, these natural flavors well, it says non-GMO. Okay, so the natural flavors can mean a lot of different things. If it's not like organic or non-GMO, I worry more about the natural flavors. Again, like I don't want to be so nitpicky that it's not practical, but when we're dealing with really stubborn weight cases and like just overall like women who don't feel great, which is who I work with, I get more picky because some of the things that like were working before are not working now. So natural flavors is something that I just watch. I don't love the gum blends. I mean, there doesn't really need to be cellulose gum, xanthan gum, carrageen. Um, Stevia is fine. Vanilla bean powder is fine. Like, so some of those gums are not always the best. So I don't think I give it like a B. I don't think it's the best option. Um, but there's not like a super hard, like, no, I don't want you to have that ingredient. Does that make sense? Let me show you Equip just for reference. So there's three ingredient. I mean, oh gosh, come on. Let's not look at the salted. When you start getting into some of the fancier flavors, there's going to be more. Okay, see, the ingredients are grass-fed beef. Um, that's vanilla. This is the one that I get. Protein or cacao powder and stevia. And then you see, like, when you get there is actually an unflavored one too, which is awesome because you can just put it in, like, you can make a fruit smoothie and put it in. It doesn't taste like anything, and it's just grass-fed beef protein. I mean, that's like as clean as it gets. But then you see, like, the more flavors of things you get some of the natural flavors. I mean, it's all non-GMO, but you know, that's just kind of part of it. So, let me go back to the chat. Yes, sucralose is what I said. No, sucralose and aspartame. So aspartame is in diet drinks. Sucralose is in a lot of protein bars, a lot of protein shakes. It's very, very sneaky. And I just from a hormone perspective, from a gut perspective, those are the things that are not helpful. Is this the Um, is this the protein? Oh, it's a can. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So you have to, yes. I've seen those and I did look at the ingredients and I would not do that one. So if you want like a pre-made one, they all have more ingredients. They're not as clean because they have to be shelf stable. I mean, so that makes sense. I recommend either OWYN, the only what you need, it stands for only what you need, or Orgain, um, for those options. But yeah, there's a lot that, especially the pre-made ones that would have like sucralose, and things like that. So if you can use powder, that's ideal. But when you're in a pinch and you need to do like a pre-made grab and go one, I would go with OWYN or Orgain. Great questions, guys. I love answering your all's questions. See, this is a whole section I would have missed if you didn't ask. So that's awesome. Any other questions? I want to make sure that all of you are in the community. So I'm going to post that link one more time. That's where I put all the replays, and just like talking to other women who are in similar phases of life and have similar goals, and all the clients that I'm working with are in there. So you can kind of see like what I do one-on-one with people, how we use the functional testing to really create personalized health, personalized plan. Um, yes, yes, that is, yeah, the grass-fed protein Orgain. Yes, that's it. There's a couple different versions. I trust, I mean, if it says organic, I trust it. So, that one's good. Good, good. And then watch those protein bars because the protein bars are really bad about that too. Really like the only, I actually like haven't found a good clean protein bar. There's some from ProMix Nutrition, and ProMix protein powder is okay. I like the, just like as like a pick me up if I eat any sort of bar, it is the Midday Square. It's organic. It only has like 8 grams of protein, and it's not, I mean, it's pretty calorie dense, but it does like keep you full. It's not going to spike your blood sugar. It all has all like good, clean ingredients. You're going to be much better off with something like that than like any of the protein bars that have just crap in them. Any other questions? Oh, I was going to post the link again. Did I do it? Yeah, I did. Okay. I posted the link. So make sure you click on that link and jump in the community. If there's no more questions, then we will wrap up today. Perfect timing. Um, and if you have requests for future topics, I have some topics planned out over the next couple weeks. But if you guys think of something that you want to ask, you can ask me in the community. You can request a certain Q&A on something. But yes, I hope that's helpful. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and let me know if you have any questions.